right, here we go.
Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into America's favorite golf podcast. It is From the Rough right here on FanStream Sports. I'm IndyCarTim. That guy over there, PGA of America member, Mr. Johnny Gerber, fresh back in town to the big KC. Johnny, how was that 18-hour drive from Columbus to Kansas City today?
It felt like 18 hours, boy. I mean, it's only 9.5, 10 and a half hours. Depends on how many times you stop, but certainly a drive. I think I slept half the way. So, you know, the luxury about KC. So I like that little L I like going on here from Dallas to Kansas City is straight 35. You just put it on cruise and go to sleep. Yeah. And then Kansas City to Columbus is straight 70.
Yeah.
And you just put it on cruise and go to sleep. So, it was good. Construction was bad, but no, I leave early enough to miss the traffic. And, great to be in Columbus. The studio there in Columbus, Ohio for FanStream Sports is looking great. Great to see my parents. But now we are back in Kansas City getting to talk. If we continue to talk, let's just say continue to talk wins of Scottie Scheffler. Doesn't matter where the guy plays, right? It doesn't matter where the guy goes. The guy just seems to win no matter where. And for those who are not Scottie Scheffler fans, it's kind of a little bit boring, but those who are, they probably love it. They probably love it. And it's certainly not very good for our pocketbooks and our wallet, but we will talk a little bit about Scottie Scheffler in terms of, winning the Procore and maybe the momentum of some of these Ryder Cup players going into next week. Good, bad, ugly. And maybe even dab into a little how we feel about the Ryder Cup guys with one of the vice captains winning the BMW Championship. How about that? How do you think those guys feels on the European Tour side, Tim?
Man, we're going to get into all of the Ryder Cup talk here in the next 2 weeks, right? Yep. Ahead of the Ryder Cup. And no, I did not want to come into the show talking about another tournament that Scottie Scheffler has won, but that
was a pretty good voice. Did you push a button or was that your voice?
That was all me.
Thank you, because now I don't have to give the $5 bill to Kohler, and that's great.
Even if it's the fake drop, we don't have to pay the fake drop.
You're only $2, so we saved a little money already. We saved some money already.
Scottie Scheffler,
that's pretty good.
But I know I did not only heard it 1,000 times. I should be able to imitate it by now.
Yeah.
But, that was not what I anticipated. And you just said, if you're not a Scottie Scheffler fan, it's not fun. You know what? It's not that I'm not a Scottie Scheffler fan. Everybody knows how I feel about Scottie. But I'm starting to lean towards Team Scottie. I'm kind of starting to come around. I mean, I don't have a choice, right? It's all he does is win. We got to keep talking about him. That's going to be the case for a while. So why not just grin and bear it, right? Like he's I don't know if it's because he's getting older. What's he, 29, 27?
Yeah, not old.
Or if he's just starting to relax a little bit more with all these wins and maybe he's enjoying the game more. But I'm starting to see a little more of his emotion.
Yeah, a little bit.
And I think I told you this. My opinion of him started changing drastically once I saw his personality come out in Happy Gilmore 2. Like, it's weird to say that his little bit part, and it was more than a bit part in the movie, kind of changed my opinion of him, that he was able to do what he did in the movie. You haven't seen the movie, for everybody out there, then you don't know what I'm talking about. If you've seen the movie, you understand 100% what I'm talking about. He was very self-deprecating in the movie. And I love when people can be self-deprecating because that's a part of a personality that not everybody has. And I think it's an important personality aspect for a lot of people to have, and if you can make fun of yourself and not take yourself too seriously, then you can have fun in other aspects of your life. And I'm starting to come around on Scottie. I'm starting to see he's having a little more fun. I don't know that he'll ever be the guy doing the shooter guns into the crowd when he makes a putt, but you know what? Not everybody has to be that guy, right? We have some of those.
Yeah, he's not Boo Weekly for sure.
Yeah.
He's not going to see him riding that fake pony with a golf club down next week down on the Ryder Cup for sure. But yeah, no, that's a great way to say it. I mean, the more you see him, the more he opens up, especially a little bit more on the golf course. His antics to me, I know his expectations are so high, but maybe his antics to me when he does it must be a University of Texas thing or something, because Jordan falls into that category also.
Yeah. So
man, I don't know. I'm not quite there like you are with him yet in terms of that. But certainly a win is a win. And if you like winners, you certainly like Scottie Scheffler.
Yeah, because that's literally all he's done. What is this, number 6 now? I quit counting his wins for the season. I mean, if you want to count it.
15 in the last 2 years, counting this one. So 7 last year, 6 this year. What do you do? I mean, what do you say?
Yeah, you just at this point, you just kind of nod and you go, yeah, well, that's just what he does. Rounds of 70, 68, 64, and 67 for a total of 19 under. He earns a measly $1.08 million. Like, what is he going to do with that? You think he's even going to cash that check?
He probably spent that on wine this week. I don't know. He just, you're up there in Napa Valley and might have got free cases of wine on top of that to make up for not the greatest purse in the world, but certainly a $1.808 million is nothing to sneeze about. But
no.
I think you go on that realm of, as good as Scottie played. And I think if you look at the whole collective group of the Ryder Cup players, everyone playing, all 10 players did make the cut, which is, if you look at that as a positive, but not all cuts are created equal. And we talked about this last week in terms of who would I be concerned about if they didn't play well, and who would I be concerned about if they did or didn't. And certainly that falls in that category of Colin Morikawa, who I firmly believe that needed to get a good showing this week to have, first off, to get some confidence and going into next week. But he didn't, and finishing, very far down that leaderboard doesn't bode well for him next week, knowing how much easier this golf course is going to be for next week and how that does not fit him. Yeah. But I'd be a little bit more concerned about JT. How his, man, you can't shoot 2 over for the tournament and feel good about yourself going into next week. So maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show, but certainly Scottie Scheffler's, if you could get any more confident in a person going to play well next week, you certainly put it all on Scottie Scheffler.
Yeah, you mentioned Colin Morikawa. He finished T43. Justin Thomas finished sole possession of 69th place at 1 over for the tournament. But yeah, both of those guys, yikes, maybe it's better to not play, and rest than have performances like that. And, all of these Ryder Cup guys, the 10 that were in the field, we talked about it Wednesday, all eyes were going to be on them and how they were playing. And, I even said of Scottie, man, I don't expect Scottie to come out and compete. Yeah, that's not why he's there. And he probably didn't start off that way. He shot a 70 to start on Thursday. He shot up 24 spots up the leaderboard after Friday's round with his 68. And then, of course, even farther on 64 with a 64 on Saturday. So, you posted your matchup on Saturday, and I put out a little kind of a recap of article about what was happening, and Ben Griffin in the lead. And I mentioned Scottie Scheffler as kind of like a passing comment in the article with your pick, with your matchup, saying, hey, it's Saturday, watch out for Scottie. And I was kind of halfway joking when I wrote that. And then come Sunday, when you did your Sunday matchup, I did the same thing. And I said, well, la-di-da, look who's here. I mean, he's already here. It's going to happen. Look out for Scottie. Yawn. And I was kind of half joking. I did not expect him to do this, but here we are now on Monday talking about another Scottie Scheffler win on the PGA Tour. As you said, 15 in the last 2 years. Is that what you said?
Yeah, 15 or 6. So no, we have 13. Sorry,
13. Okay,
7 last year, 6 this year.
Right.
So 13 in the last calendar year, right?
That's
so I mean,
ridiculous.
in 12 months.
Yeah.
In 12 months, that's what you're looking at.
I think he should retire and maybe start bowling or something.
Well, yeah, maybe. Well, let's get him the career Grand Slam first, and then we'll go that route. Yeah, I mean, it's inevitable at this point. I think, that. Oh yeah, I mean, what? How could you bet against him? I mean, do you want to bet against him? Because I don't. I mean,
I never thought he would get a British Open ever in a million years. I don't think that, just he never plays well over there.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously his game travels. And when we previewed the Procore and, we looked at the guys we thought that would play well, that really play well on Poania greens. You could find that a little bit of Dallas, but that's certainly not how he grew up. He grew up in the Dallas area on the really not quite the course Bermuda. You can get some of that overseed there, but certainly the guy who finished second, Ben Griffin, having a chance to win, but missing that last putt. Certainly didn't grow up there. I mean, it's pretty hardcore Bermuda where he comes from, but that just goes to show with those two guys that their game travels so well. And I think that bodes well for going into the Ryder Cup, that those greens are going to be all Poe and playing in New York is certainly going to help that. But, it doesn't matter where the guy plays. You drop him off in Mars, it seems like, and the guy can figure out a way to win something. The Mars Open, I don't know, whatever it is, whatever tournament's going to come there in the next 100 years.
Yeah, and we don't talk a lot of LPGA golf, but we had kind of a notable ending at the LPGA as Jeeno Thitikul, who's the chick that I figured out I saw over here in Frisco that I told you that I saw at McDonald's.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize her until I saw her on TV later that week. She had her second win of the LPGA season in her hand on 18 at the Kroger Queen City Championship until it fell apart and she 4-putted the final and 72nd and final hole, opening the door for Charley Hull to take the win. Yeah.
And I played that golf course a bunch, TPC Riverbends down in Cincinnati.
Yep.
That 18th hole is kind of a quirky par 5 that meanders a little bit to the right, a slight dogleg right, not much, but it's a little quirky hole. It's a kind of a 3-tier green there. But what a way for Charley Hull to get her first LPGA win. Is it her first? I believe it's her first LPGA win. And you feel bad for Jeeno Thitikul when it comes to something like that, but good for Charley Hull. They got to play them all, right? Yeah. They got to play them all, and you can't control what other people do. He's had a great year, Jeeno, but what a great win for Charley Hull, and maybe the floodgates will open when it comes to something like her. She's been knocking on the door for a long time.
She has. So Jeeno reached the par 5 18th and 2, landed her second shot 50 feet from the hole. She ran her eagle attempt 5 feet past, but she was still in good shape for a par. She had to sink that to go into a playoff, but she burned the lip with her birdie attempt and then pushed the 4-foot par putt that would have secured her playoff with hole past the hole.
Just a goon. I mean, she 4-putted. I mean, what are you going to say?
Yeah, it wasn't pretty, and she knew it. But again, you call that kind of a Rory moment almost.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question when it comes. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, maybe. What do you say? I mean, are the nerves there? Yeah, absolutely. Are you thinking ahead? Yeah, maybe a little bit, but that was very certainly uncharacteristic of her. A 4-putt. You don't see a girl of that caliber, top 10 player in the world, that has something like that. Certainly, especially on a par 5, that has an opportunity to win. Maybe she just lost focus. That certainly can happen when you have that much of a lead and you have a par 5 and you're there in 2, and all you got to do is you 3-putt the win, and and then you're in good shape. But you never know what goes through their mind, especially when you're trying to win a golf tournament like that. And giving it to Charley Hull, like I said, hats off to her for winning a tournament.
Yeah, and I'm more of a Charley Hull fan, I think, now since she quit smoking. I can actually watch her out on the golf course without getting creeped out by her sucking down darts all the time.
Yeah, she's a bit of a razorback, right? I mean, she's not
a little rough around the edges.
Yeah, she spent a few nights in the barn for sure. I mean, when it comes to something like that, something like that. So, yeah, like I said, is it something that's going to propel her to more wins? Yeah, maybe. We'll see. I mean, that's not an easy golf course. I mean, it's very forgiving off the tee, which normal LPGA golf courses are, but the greens are very difficult, and it's a difficult golf course. I know it was, being up in Ohio this week, they haven't had a lot of rain, so they had a lot of run out on those fairways, so it played extremely short for those ladies. But they still, I think she shot 19. What'd she shoot? 19 under?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
19 under. Isn't it strange? You shoot 19 under on the ladies, 19 on the men, and 18 on the BMW Championship. So the world of golf certainly lended a lot of birdies this week when it comes to professional golf.
Yeah, they're catching up. They're catching up with the courses. We're going to have to start lengthening the courses. No, I'm just kidding. Nobody needs that. We can, at this point, I guess that's an argument for an episode one day. Number one, do you even have to address that golfers are becoming better than the courses, that golfers win now? Is it a problem? Some people would consider that a problem. I mean, I do. When you start getting to 30 under, I just, it's not fun to watch for me. So
there's ways.
What's that?
No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, so number one, do you even consider that a problem? And if you do, how do you address it? Do you start altering the courses, or do you start altering the equipment and putting restriction? We've talked about using shorter balls and things like that. Do you start managing the equipment, or do you start managing the golf courses more? Like, what would be the best way to address that? There's so many questions in there, and I don't think we're there, right now, where you need to start thinking about that. But man, I can certainly see, with technology advancing so rapidly in golf, and club technology and ball technology, and just guys getting stronger, and not just golf, in every sport, really. This happens in every sport. At what point is the NBA going to raise the rim to 12 feet? I mean, it's inevitable. It's got to happen at some point. Do you make the hole smaller? I don't know. There's so many things you can do, but what's the right way to do it? Just to stay true to golf.
Everybody has their own opinions. That they've already shortened the driver, right? So that's something that they've already done. I don't, my opinion, I don't think the golf ball is the right way to go about it. But if you look at some of the PGA Tour events, you alter the golf courses. You make the fairways tighter, and you make the in the rough longer. Right. And if you look at a handful of golf courses that they play on the PGA Tour that you love, like Hilton Head, that 9 under wins, 10 under wins, is because it's a tight golf course, and you have to think your way around, and the fairways are tight. And in my opinion, that's how you do it. You look at U.S. Opens that do that, and you don't want the tour courses, all of them, to be brutal like the U.S. Open, but you also got to realize, what do the fans want? I think the fans want to see birdies. Most of the fans that go, they want to see some really good scoring, and you'll see a handful of fans that want to see these guys struggle. So, what's the answer? I don't know. I mean, if I give you my answer, you're going to have a 100,000 other people that have a different answer, and then 100,000 people are going to have a different answer than that. So it's certainly something that's an opinion type things, but if you go back in the world of sports, just like, if you want to talk about basketball, I mean, those guys, fans want to go see those guys dunking, a lot, they want fast pace. So, does it, the bottom line is, and it's been happening for a long time, athletes are bigger, stronger, faster. Yeah. That's what they are. And they're going to continue to get bigger, stronger, faster. And the age-old question is, do you adapt the game to the players, or the players to the game? And I don't know the answer. I don't know if anyone really has the correct answer, but certainly a lot of people have their opinions.
Yeah, and like I said, that's an argument. Everybody knows how I feel. I hate I don't hate the double-digit under par winners. When you start getting close to 20, that's when I start to lose interest. And when you get close to 30, I'm right out. I have zero desire to watch somebody shoot a 31 under Scottie Scheffler on it. It's not his fault. It's just, it is what it is. But that is no longer entertaining to me. I have zero desire to see that. But I'm also the guy, number one, who loves baseball, and most people don't like baseball anymore. But
I
I'm
love
also the
baseball.
guy who loves baseball, who would rather go to a baseball game and watch it and see a 1-0 pitcher's duel than the 9-10 home run derby or 10-9 home run derby. I'd rather see the 1-0 pitcher's duel and all the great defense than watch guys launch the ball out of the park every other at bat. That's maybe I'm just I'm weird that way. I don't know.
Yeah, and they've played around with that also. I mean, what is it for 6 1 half dozen the other? And they modified the baseball, right? They've modified the bats. They've so there's certainly way that they played around with who is, who should have the advantage. Is it a pitcher or is it a hitter? And they played around with both. And it just seems like if you look at the stats and the numbers, I'm not really sure what they are. I think the attendance because of baseball has come back because of home runs.
Sure.
I do. I really think that. And if you look at, and I'll debate all day long and whether people consider it right or wrong in the steroid era of Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa, they single-handedly brought back baseball. I don't care what anybody.
After this 94 strike. Absolutely. Yeah.
They, with the home runs and however they did it, they saved baseball. And then, that steroid dealer came back. So I think every sport's played around with how do you make it more entertaining? On top of it, how do you temper the 200 to 200 in basketball? Like I said, I don't know. We're all going to have opinions on it. I like both. I think the skill set of a pitcher should challenge the hitter, but I also think that the skill set of the hitter should challenge the pitcher. And I'm a baseball fan. I'm a massive. That was my first love in sports. Yeah. And still love baseball. So, that's something we could talk about, certainly on one of our newer shows that's coming up here pretty soon.
Absolutely. Let's take our first break of the show. We'll come back. We'll talk a little bit more about the Procore Championship, some of the winners and losers, and maybe grade some of the guys that were on the tour and that did not finish so well, and maybe a couple of shockers that did finished very well. Need to remind everybody today's episode brought to you as always by Orion Golf Management Solutions. Head over to oriongolf.com. See what they can do for you. If you are a manager or own or run or are involved with a golf facility such as a driving range, a golf course, anything like that, head over to oriongolf.com. Find out how they can help you. They can offer assistance in either staffing, in events, in catering. They can effing help you with your F&B. With all of that, with merchandise, pro shop, anything like that, they can help you at oriongolf.com. Head over there, let them know Johnny and Tim sent you, and Johnny and Tim will be back after this.
Hi, golfers. IndyCarTim here. I want to talk to you a little bit about Golf Central Magazine. It's not just a golf magazine. It's the magazine for everything: turf, travel, philanthropy, and lifestyle. Head over to golfcentralmag.com and check out the latest issue. Some of the regular features in Golf Central Magazine: the Golf Bachelorette of the Month, the Golf Bachelor of the Month, the Golf Cart Girl of the Month, Golf History, Grip It and Sip It. So head over to golfcentralmag.com. It's free. It's the magazine for everything: turf, travel, philanthropy, and lifestyle. Golf Central Magazine at golfcentralmag.com. We'll see you there. Today's show is brought to you by Tomstown, a premier craft distillery based in Kansas City, Missouri. Discover their award-winning lineup, including double oaked bourbon, botanical gin, and double grain vodka, named the best craft vodka by the readers of USA Today. Available for online delivery in 40 states. Visit toms-town.com or their Kansas City distillery to explore more. Elevate your game with Tomstown, where history meets innovation. Please enjoy responsibly.
Hello, folks. Let's talk a little bit about turf life. And what is turf life? It's pretty much if your life involves turf in any way, shape, or form, you live the turf life. Go ahead and brand yourself with the turf life. Maybe a back window decal, maybe a hat. You know where you can get those kinds of things to showcase that your life revolves around sports and or anything that involves sports. If it's a sports business or sports education or just your enjoyment of the outdoors, head over to turflifeclub.com. Become a turf head. Join the club today. You can do that by going to that said website that I just told you to go to. You can snag your window decal like I was talking about, or any of your other turf life accessories. Show everybody that you live the turf life, and we'll see you there over there at that turflifeclub.com.
Orion Golf Management Solutions. Orion Management Solutions has tailored its service packages just like it tailors its approach to customers. Some owners need more supervision, while others need periodic assessment of their short-term and long-term strategies and programs. Orion can be called in to develop a business plan with the existing staff or we can assist with the daily management of a facility or event. Either way, we make sure the client is satisfied and understands the direction the facility needs to go in order to achieve the owner's goals. Orion Management Solutions can help with owner assistance service solutions, daily course management, business plan development, monthly operations, or as-needed consulting services. Whatever your need, Orion Golf Management Solutions can help. Check out oriongolf.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Welcome back to From the Rough right here on FanStream Sports. I'm IndyCarTim. That is Johnny the Gerbman Gerber live from his home studio in Kansas. Almost said Orchard Park.
Overland Park.
Why am I thinking Orchard Park? That's weird.
You're thinking of Buffalo Bills.
I
Josh
know,
Allen.
I am. I'm thinking of Rich Stadium. I'm not even Rich Stadium anymore.
Overland Park's nicer than Orchard Park. I promise you that.
You know what? I've been to both, and I agree with you 100%. I've been to Orchard Park in the wintertime.
Why?
Yeah.
That's the question. Why?
Cowboys game. Yeah. Back in the late 90s, they went up and played Buffalo. I think it was only November. It wasn't even December. But they already had a foot of snow, and they bust us media on a 4-wheel drive bus, or I guess an 8-wheel drive bus, whatever it was, to get us all to the stadium. Same bus the players were, type of bus the players were on from the hotel. And dude, that's a haul, man. Back then they didn't have hotels around the stadium. We were actually in Buffalo, and we had to go all the way from Buffalo to Orchard Park.
Yeah, and the nasty weather, and no.
Yeah. And then they decided, you know what, let's build our brand new outdoor stadium right next to the old one in Orchard Park. We don't need to be closer to Buffalo.
Yeah.
So whatever, you know what, good for them. You know what, kudos to the Bills, though, for staying true to their heritage and building an outdoor stadium.
Well, now they're building an indoor stadium.
No, not Buffalo.
I thought it's like I thought it was like 80%.
No,
there you go.
So it's got like over the crowd, like over the seats.
Yeah.
But it's not like Texas Stadium was, right? Like that was ridiculous. That was basically a dome with a little hole. No, this is going to be true to life, you know, keeping some of the fans out of the elements, but dude, the field's still going to get covered in snow, and they'll have all the heated stuff. But again, I have to say congratulations to Buffalo for doing that with their stadium, and also at the same time say F you to the Cleveland Browns for building a dome in Cleveland for their new stadium.
Just goes to show successes of franchises, right?
Cleveland's going to Cleveland. I've been saying it for years. Cleveland's going to Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll talk football on a different show.
Yeah.
But let's get into some of the also rans here and the grades. Of course, Scottie Scheffler. You can't give him anything other than an A++ or a check plus. If you go all the way back to elementary school, we used to get check plus. I think we'd get a check minus, a check plus, or a check plus was the highest you could get. So I think I'm going to start grading golfers on my elementary school grading slope with the check system.
How many stars? Did you get gold stars?
Yeah. We did. And then when you were really bad, they just write your name on your board, and then you'd get a check next to it if it was twice. A check. If you got like 3 checks next to your name, you're going to the principal's office. And there wasn't any argument. You just got the paddle. If you got three checks next to your name, you already knew it was the paddle. There was no debate. There was no argument. It was just like, all right, go see Mr. Bennett, the principal's office. And he had a big paddle with holes on it hanging on his wall. And you'd walk in. He was already expecting you. And you just have to grab the paddle off the wall, hand it to him, spread eagle, and you take it. You take it like you liked it.
And be careful with the paddle with the holes in it. That just gives more aerodynamics.
Yeah. It hurt, man.
Yeah.
The guy that I thought was going to win this thing all week until he didn't. Ben Griffin finished a shot back at 18 under. You know, I know he's won this year. He had kind of an up and down season though, a little bit. I'm giving him the check plus for my personal grade. I really thought he was going to, and he cleared third place or fourth place because they were tied by 2 strokes. If it wasn't for Scottie, I thought Ben Griffin would have had a great week.
Yeah, you talked to him. You liked him this week when we previewed last week. You said, you thought Ben Griffin would play well, and I didn't disagree with you. I just thought that, converting to that type of greens, and you see where he has won in the South and has played well mainly in the South. I just didn't think it bode well. I certainly, his ball striking I thought would certainly benefit him with the tightness of the golf course. I just didn't think, putting on these type of greens would bode well. But again, good golf is good golf. And I think that transitions well into next week.
Yeah, he started out of the gates pretty well on Sunday with 3 birdies, and then he got a bogey on the par 4 fourth, and then he went after 9 straight pars, and he couldn't get back under par after that. He had a 3-putt bogey on 14. He had just a couple of errors there, and even steering clear of maybe one of those errors, he might have had something for Scottie towards the end, but he just didn't have enough. And when you run into Scottie, there's not a whole lot you can do here. Go ahead.
Yeah, you can't make mistakes, and having an opportunity for putt on the last hole to go into a playoff certainly is an accomplishment. So, I'll go back to Scottie for a second. Is a guy going into an event, nothing to prove, nothing to really. I mean, I don't want to say nothing to play for because that's the wrong way to say it. His mindset in this prep is a little bit different.
Yeah,
he sets himself up a little bit like Tiger. If he doesn't think he's going to win, he certainly wouldn't play. But if it wasn't for the Ryder Cup, it certainly wouldn't be on his schedule to play this event. So a guy going into a new golf course that he hasn't played, first time playing here, whatever, how many pluses you want to give Scottie Scheffler. I honestly think it's one of his more impressive wins for the year just because of these types of the circumstances, right? Hey, good for him. And again, I'm begging for that Scottie Rory matchup next week.
At T4, you had an amateur, Jackson Coyven, of course, fresh off leading the U.S. Walker Cup team to a win over Great Britain and Ireland at Cypress Point. He kept it going there in Napa. He's the world number 1 amateur. He continued to show why he's sort of the Scottie Scheffler of amateurs right now. I guess maybe I may be overstating that a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Nobody's the Scottie Scheffler of anything unless you're Scottie Scheffler, right?
Yeah.
Was he 20 years old? I feel like he's still got some short game stuff he needs to work on. But man, he's at 20. He's got plenty of time to do that. This guy, I feel like we'll be talking about him much the way we did about Ludwig Oberg when he burst onto the scene as a pro, with just all of the skill sets, all of the tools in his bag. I know his game's different than Ludwig Oberg's, but as far as skill and talent and ability, I think we'll be talking about him for a while. I gave him a check plus as well.
Yeah, if you look at a guy like that, certainly doesn't lack confidence. If you listen to some of the comments that he was making towards Russell Henley, and I think that I like that. I think that's good for a kid like that. But it just goes to show with these kids coming out, they're not scared, man. They are not scared, even though they've been watching. And he's seasoned. He's played in so many, tour events and things like that. Hopefully, he doesn't fall or look in that category like the Luke Clanton. If you look at Luke Clanton since he's turned pro, he certainly hasn't panned out in terms of the expectations that he has had. Right. And I think if you look back, even though Nick Dunlap did win to get his PGA Tour card, certainly the trials and tribulations that he's had as a full-time PGA Tour member, getting used to the life out there, hasn't really worked out for him so far, even though he has won on the PGA Tour as an amateur. So I think you can find some good and bads of those, and hopefully Jackson Coyven doesn't fall into that category of I don't know if it's comfort or what when it comes to that. It's happened to the Nick Dunlap. We're trying to get better and realizing, hey man, my game is good enough what I brought to the table. Right. Let's just go ahead and keep on working on the small things.
At T19, finishing at 9 under, my guy, I have not spoken with him. That hadn't been long enough yet after the round. He gets drunk when he likes to talk to me that soon after the tournament. But Max Homa shot a final round 66 that shot him 27 spots up the leaderboard with that 66. Now, he didn't have any of that for the first 3 rounds. He went 71, 69, 73, 66. And if he'd have had a little bit better Saturday, he might have finished a little bit closer up there towards the top. But, the season that he's had, he missed the postseason. He showed signs of turning a corner kind of later here in the past few months of the season. And I feel like his ball striking is taking steps in the right direction. But, man, his short game has just been horrible, and it's held him back. And that's something he's got to work on, including the putter. He putted well this week, but I thought he would play better in California, there in Napa, right there, kind of on his home turf, but it just wasn't in the books until 67 on Sunday, or 66 on Sunday.
Yeah, you look at, I mean, I think those, you say his short game is a little bit off, but I think that's a little bit skewed stats when you look at it because his ball striking has been so poor. He's put so much pressure on his short game. If you look at his ball striking stats, and again, I just think that's really skewed when it comes to that. But
yeah,
you're hoping he took some of this in confidence, not playing next week. Next week is usually Vegas, but the Vegas tournament is not on the schedule anymore. So You're hoping he can get some more. He'll get some more. Well, he will get some more starts in the fall that can maybe propel him, give him some confidence going into the 2026 season. So, if you want to find a place to get drunk, and since Vegas is out of the rotation, that's probably the easiest place on the PGA Tour to get drunk. I mean, it's not very hard to find a million wineries just stepping outside.
He might have been a little winoed up too this week. You don't know. I think he probably had his family with him this week. That's probably why I didn't hear from him. So that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, more than fair.
And again, a lot of these guys, we talked about it Wednesday. I don't know how many of these guys went into it with the intent of competing and trying to win. Of course, everybody tries to win. That's probably the wrong way to say it. But a lot of these guys are going into these rounds here before you head into FedEx Cup fall, the meat of it, to just work on stuff, right? Guys like Max, they're probably trying to work on stuff, and they want to do that in competitive play because that's different than any other place you can do that, So, 9 under for the tournament for him, I didn't think was horrible, but I was disappointed with his finish, I guess.
Yeah, you made a good point. I mean, some of these guys go into playing these things for different reasons. I mean, this could be a guy that certainly has their card secure, maybe it's a family week for them, even though you do want to play good golf and that's your job and that's what you're doing. And but for others, they're working on things, maybe building some momentum, starting to work on swing changes for next year. To maybe put it in competition to see how it fits. A lot of it's different for a lot of the guys. So, I certainly don't think the Ryder Cup, the guys who are playing in the Ryder Cup took the position of, hey, I think this is the vacation week.
Yeah.
So I think, but some of, you look at a guy like maybe Keith Mitchell that likes to go ahead and get down on the red. Maybe he did. And maybe that's why he didn't play very well.
Your guy at T43 finished 5 under, Colin Moore, a coward. When his iron play is off, it's hard for him to score well, and he's been dealing with that kind of all year, but this week he dealt with that as well. He only had 12 birdies all week, almost half of those coming in a 2-hour window on Friday. He's still accurate off the tee, but he's searching for something in his game, I think, somewhere else. He mentioned at the Tour Championship that it wasn't his putter. So despite consistent changes, and he said that was at the top of his to-do list, there's still parts of his game that are failing him miserably, and that's terrifying going into a Ryder Cup.
Don't be surprised if he doesn't play a lot of matches.
I mean, is he the weak link?
I mean, I don't see how he couldn't be, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's lacking confidence. I think he's lacking his game. I think this is the worst golf course in the world for him. I think you could pair him up with – I don't think you could pair him up with a lot of guys. I mean, I just don't think you can, and especially, for this week, am I hoping he figures something out? Yeah, but – it'll be surprising if just for this week, if he does. Yeah.
Kind of right there with you on that. And then, by the way, I gave Colin a check minus, big fat check minus for the way he played.
I wouldn't even give him a check.
You gave him an X.
Yeah.
Our last guy finishing at 69, dude. Justin Thomas at 1 over on the week. He started the week with some promise, but that was very short-lived. He went 72, 70, 72, 75 on Sunday. He lost 16 spots on the leaderboard on Sunday. He got as deep as 4 under after his first 10 holes of his opening round, and he looked like he was going to cruise. But 4 bogeys in his final 6 holes kind of derailed the rest of his tournament. He was nothing better than mediocre, I thought, throughout his bag, outside of maybe his chipping and his pitching, which, he's usually good at that anyway. But driver, I thought, was a concern. His iron play hasn't been sharp since the middle of May. And just all kind of culminated in a check minus for me this week for JT. I needed to see something better.
It didn't bother me because we talked about this last week. He's a guy, if he wouldn't be in contention, will he start working on things next week? If you look at the last 6 holes, he hit driver everywhere just to get ready for next week or for the Ryder Cup, right? And I knew that's what he was going to do if he didn't have any contention, maybe hitting some shots that he will hit next week. I'm not concerned about JT. Not a great golf course for him anyways when it comes to that. He likes to hit driver a lot. I know how creative he is, and I just think that, losing the interest, not being able to win a golf tournament, I think he just kind of say, hey, man, I want to hit some drivers where I normally wouldn't hit drivers if I was in contention. So, and we said that last week. He said, hey, man, if he's not in contention, JT's just going to pull the big dog out everywhere, and that's not the golf course to do that.
No, not at all. Let's take our final break, and we'll come back and recap our picks for the week right here on From the Rough on FanStream Sports. I'm Tim. That's Johnny.
Hi, golfers. IndyCarTim here. I want to talk to you a little bit about Golf Central Magazine. It's not just a golf magazine. It's the magazine for everything: turf, travel, philanthropy, and lifestyle. Head over to golfcentralmag.com and check out the latest issue. Some of the regular features in Golf Central Magazine: the Golf Bachelorette of the Month, the Golf Bachelor of the Month, the Golf Cart Girl of the Month, Golf History, Grip It and Sip It. So head over to golfcentralmag.com. It's free. It's the magazine for everything: turf, travel, philanthropy, and lifestyle. Golf Central Magazine at golfcentralmag.com. We'll see you there. Today's show is brought to you by Tomstown, a premier craft distillery based in Kansas City, Missouri. Discover their award-winning lineup, including double oaked bourbon, botanical gin, and double grain vodka, named the best craft vodka by the readers of USA Today. Available for online delivery in 40 states. Visit toms-town.com or their Kansas City distillery to explore more. Elevate your game with Tomstown, where history meets innovation. Please enjoy responsibly.
Hello, folks. Let's talk a little bit about turf life. And what is turf life? It's pretty much if your life involves turf in any way, shape, or form, you live the turf life. Go ahead and brand yourself with the turf life. Maybe a back window decal, maybe a hat. You know where you can get those kinds of things to showcase that your life revolves around sports and or anything that involves sports. If it's a sports business or sports education or just your enjoyment of the outdoors, head over to turflifeclub.com. Become a turf head. Join the club today. You can do that by going to that said website that I just told you to go to. You can snag your window decal like I was talking about, or any of your other turf life accessories. Show everybody that you live the turf life, and we'll see you there over there at that turflifeclub.com.
Orion Golf Management Solutions. Orion Management Solutions has tailored its service packages just like it tailors its approach to customers. Some owners need more supervision, while others need periodic assessment of their short-term and long-term strategies and programs. Orion can be called in to develop a business plan with the existing staff, or we can assist with the daily management of a facility or event. Either way, we make sure the client is satisfied and understands the direction the facility needs to go in order to achieve the owner's goals. Orion Management Solutions can help with owner assistance service solutions, daily course management, business plan development, monthly operations, or as-needed consulting services. Whatever your need, Orion Golf Management Solutions can help. Check out oriongolf.com.
Let's go! Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Welcome back to From the Rough right here on FanStream Sports. I'm IndyCarTim. That guy over there is PGA of America member John Gerber. It is Recap Monday for you boys and girls unfamiliar with the show. We do our recaps on Monday, our previews on Wednesdays. And coming up, of course, we will give you 2 weeks of Ryder Cup preview. Here on Wednesday, we'll start with some preliminary stuff for you, everything we're seeing and hearing and everything pertinent. And then, of course, a week from Wednesday, this week, we will give you the meat of it as we get right into it. And it's probably the most exciting time of the year of this year for golf because of the Ryder Cup, the anticipation, the teams, the competition that we anticipate, the level of play that we anticipate. And, of course, we already know how America responds to the Ryder Cup, to the other team, and especially in New York. and especially at Bethpage Black. It's going to be an epic one, and we will bring you all of it at FanStream Sports, especially our new written digital content for you, our recaps and our previews, we'll give you some of the in-event stuff too. Make sure you check that out over at fanstreamsports.com, and our spanking brand new, shiny as a nickel website at fanstreamsports.com. Special thanks to everybody that made that possible for us. But Johnny, it is one more segment here to go until we turn all of our attention to the Ryder Cup, and that is our picks for the week. Look, I will go first. I did not have the greatest week. I did just miss in my top 10. Missed it by that much, as I do my Don Adams, Maxwell Smart impression that probably 89 to 95% of our audience has no idea what that is.
Zero idea.
But me and Nancy know what it is, and that's all that matters.
I don't know if even Nancy knows that one.
Oh, she knows Get Smart. There's no question.
I don't know. She is smart, but she might not know that one, but we'll see.
She knows that one. So
if there's no Indians or killing in it, she's out.
She'll know. We'll talk about it next time I'm there if I don't take her parking place. So my and that's all I'll say about that. Johnny, my picks last week, I had JJ Spawn as my winner. He ended up P6. Missed it by
what's P6?
Sole possession of sixth place. P6.
Okay.
As opposed to T6 when he tied for sixth. If you're solo sixth.
Why didn't you say sixth? I've never heard P6.
Okay, well, you don't watch racing.
Bingo.
When he finished in sixth spot, it's P6.
Bingo.
And if I just put a 6 next to JJ Spawn's name, that looks stupid. It looks like he's got a 6.
There's 6TH, sixth.
No, that's dumb. Missed my top 10 in Maverick McNeely. Don't call me Goose, who finished T13. And then top 20 Bo Hostler. I missed this one by a mile as he finished T47. As Johnny is well aware where Bo Hostler finished, because Johnny might have also had him on his card as let's get the music going. I think I still have the music that I can do here. Oh, how about that? Listen to that.
I was requested that the music is too loud when we pick those picks out.
By who?
An important person.
So we'll make it louder today.
No, softer, quieter. It's
time for Johnny's pick. Well, I'm getting it from a different place today, so I have no idea how to control that today.
Okay.
Johnny, tell us a little bit about what went right, what went wrong.
Well, there's not a whole lot that went right, as you can see. I mean, not the greatest of week going into the fall season, starting the fall season here. But again, you can look at Maverick McNeely T13, Eric Cole 43, Doug Gim. Our ham sandwich had a chance. Michael Thorne Bjorson, T13. Missed the cut with Joel Damon. Again, we apologize to Maverick McNeely and Bo Hostler because most of the time when we have crossovers, it doesn't fare very well. Taylor Montgomery had a chance to jump in that top 20, but didn't have a great weekend. He sat there going into the weekend at T8 and just didn't have a great weekend. But we did go 2-0 on our matchups. That gets our total to 56. 56, 12, and 5 for the year. 56, 12, and 5 for the year, which is a magnificent record when it comes to matchups. We did lose a net profit of 600. That gets us to just still a profit of a little bit over $1,300 for the year. Again, this has been a terrible season for us, and we self-admittingly not a great year, but we'll tell you when we're right. We'll tell you when we're wrong. You know, I don't have to get it. I want to be right. I don't always have to get it right, and I don't sometimes, and certainly this was a week that I didn't get it right, but still really solid on our matchup. So all you guys following along with our matchups, congratulations to you, and we apologize for the picks. But, hey, what a great matchup weeks we're going to have for the Ryder Cup. I really love thriving in the Ryder Cup settings when we do matchups. I love. So really looking forward to next week. And then after that, we will continue. And I tell everybody our season ends December 31st, and we start anew. So we still have a lot of opportunities to make some money. And we will do that as we continue in the fall schedule. But let's clean our slate. We got another week off. We'll be doing a lot of Ryder Cup prep, so looking forward to that, and just so curious to see what some of these daily matchups are going to be when we talk about alternate shot with foursomes and 4-ball, best ball, and then the always compelling individual matchups that we'll see on that Sunday. So, man, I said this 3 weeks ago, a month ago, 2 weeks ago. This is the most excited I've ever been coming into a Ryder Cup, just for a lot of reasons, a lot of the storylines, and then a lot of the opportunities. I think this is for the first time. And I guess it's been 14 to 16 years that the Europeans have a chance to win on foreign soil, or a team has a chance to win on foreign soil. I think there's this opportunity for the Europeans. I think they stack up. I don't know why they're an underdog. Has to do probably only because they're playing in the United States and the record that the home team has. But I think they're just in better form coming in. I do, and I think there's a couple wink links on the team for the U.S. side. I don't think the European side has to hide anybody. And man, we'll see. I know you're as excited as I am.
Yeah, and we'll get into it on. Johnny probably won't be with me on Wednesday for my excuse me, on my preliminary preview discussion. But I know a week from Wednesday or so, maybe we'll get him on. But I'm not optimistic right now where it stands about the U.S. chances. Maybe that'll change the closer we get. But as far as your new picks go for 2026, that will start January 31st with the Farmers, right? For the first tournament of the 26?
No, the Tournament of Champions, the Hyundai.
You'll start with that one? Okay.
Yeah, we always start with that. We will start with the it's not Tournament of Champions anymore, but the first tournament will be it goes Hawaii. So it's the second
Century
week of January.
Sony, right?
Sony, Century and Sony. So that's the second week of January. We'll start.
Okay.
We might dabble some European Tour events through the couple weeks of the off season. I think I want to talk a little bit more. I think 2026 we're going to talk a little bit more maybe Corn Ferry guys maybe coming up. Do some previewing for the LPGA Tour. I think we do golf a disservice not really talking about some of these other tours and some of these other guys coming up. So I think the format change for us in 2026 is exciting for us. I think we're going to do a lot more. I think we're going to do a lot more shows. We're going to have a lot more guests, and maybe expand maybe do a longer show, throughout the season. So, 2026, a lot of changes. Potentially, we're going to do a lot more on-course reporting in 2026. So we're going to be a little bit more in depth for you guys, for FanStream Sports, inside the ropes a little bit more. So 2026, we're really looking forward to that. And we really appreciate all the followers, everyone that's continued to watch the shows and support us, but we're continue growing. We're continue to have some more and more exciting content in all of our shows on FanStream Sports. So we appreciate everybody watching.
Absolutely, could not have said it better myself. Which means that's going to do it for me and Johnny. We'll be back, or at least I'll be back. Maybe Johnny, but probably me on Wednesday for our first preview of the Ryder Cup, and then we'll get into the meat of it the week after that. Probably won't have a show on next Monday unless I decide to do even more Ryder Cup, or maybe we'll move the preview to Monday. We'll figure it out, but make sure you check our social medias for the updated information on this schedule for the next couple of weeks ahead of the Ryder Cup, because we're going to be all over the Ryder Cup for you. Can't wait to do it. For Johnny, I'm Tim. This is From the Rough on FanStream Sports. Until next time, boys and girls, y'all keep hitting them straight.